we are going to be talking briefly about any questions you have in mind. All right. Any questions that you have in mind? You want to talk about it? Yep. What are those frequently asked questions that bothers you when it comes to relationship, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to sex, when it comes to parenting as a mother? Yeah, I got married in 2019. And even before I got married, I've had a keen interest for love. I've had a keen interest for relationship. I've had a keen interest for anything that has to do with taking care of yourself, taking care of your babies, taking care of, motherhood and everything. So it's something I don't seldom do it. I do it because I'm passionate about it. All right. So we're gonna be having this live every day by 2 p.m. Okay, on the show by 2 p.m. and I'm gonna be coming on live. If you want to please help me share this video, like, subscribe, refer a friend, and we're always gonna have this by God's grace every day. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. Okay, so this person says, how can I work on myself before entering a relationship? This is a very important question. How can you work on yourself before entering into a relationship? Now, thank you so much, Kesena, for asking. The truth of the matter is that, do you know that people think that there is really nothing to do? Just go into a relationship. Love is just there waiting for you, so you don't have to take care of yourself. You don't have to add value to yourself. Don't do anything, just enter into a relation. That's what a lot of people think, but that's not true. That's not true. You have a lot of things that you must do as a single girl, as a single guy before you get into a relationship. So, first of all, you want to ask yourself, do I love myself? Do you love yourself? So, you must have self love. You must respect yourself. If you're that person who thinks that, oh, there's nothing to like about myself, I have this big tummy. Am I showing you guys my tummy? Oh my god. All right. So if you think that you have this big body that you don't like, how do you think that someone is gonna like it? So one time I was in a relationship in my teenage age. I started really very early. Okay, but I had this kind of relationship that it wasn't really about what I wasn't doing anything bad. I was just in a relationship, and it was more of a relationship that was helping me grow. That brother kind of sister kind of relationship, right? That was what it was. And one time I told this guy, I said, I know you're just managing me. I know you're just managing me. I know you're just managing me. And I was crying. And he was like, what's wrong with you, Gloria? Who told you I'm managing you? Now I could look back at those times and see that what I was dealing with was low self-esteem. Because this guy is someone who had people coming for him, those kind of hot guys that every girl wants to be on his DM. Every girl, wants to be with him and all of that. So I was feeling like, oh, and this girl, Shad, they were coming for this guy who I was apparently dating. Some of these girls had cars. They were graduates. Me, I was just a young teenager at age 16, 17, thereabout. So I told him, I know you're just managing me. And I felt so, yeah. But now I know better. How can I tell myself right now that someone is managing me? No, I'm a blessing to my husband. I'm married. I'm a blessing. And even before I got married, I knew my self-esteem grew because I took time to develop myself. So this person who says, how do I where's this question now? That has to do with what am I supposed to do before I get into a relationship? How do I work on myself before I get into a relationship? Yes, you must learn to work on yourself by reading books, by attending seminars, anything that to feed your mind. YouTube videos like this are beautiful. Okay, you must learn to do all of these things because they help you. These things help you feed your mind, grow. Even if you are not tall, even if you're on the big size, whatever, the moment you have value from your mouth, anything that comes out from your mouth is what you have already put inside of you. It's already inside of you. And how do you put it inside of you is through the things that goes into your eye gate, your ear gate. You have learned, you have grown. Then you can now say, I am a person of value. What gives me value is not the Tiwa hair, it's not the Davido's wife's makeup on her wedding day. What gives me value is knowing who I am. And knowing who I am came as a result of me sitting down and learning and researching and growing intentionally. So the next question I have here, thank you so much, Kesena, for that very first question. Please drop your comment and tell me how you grew or how you're growing currently, how you're growing yourself currently. So you can also write your question, tell me your questions. What questions would you like to ask me on this channel? And I'm going to do a video for tomorrow's Q&A session. Okay. So this person says this person says, what are some tips for online dating safety? What are some tips for online dating safety? Me in particular, I am not a big fan of online dating because as much as I know and I've seen people who have gotten their spouses online, I also know that it's online is a porous the internet is very porous. You most times cannot curtail or control everything that goes on there. So if you must be someone, if you must look for a lover online as a guy, probably you're looking for a wife or you're looking for a date online, then you must be ready to go through the rigorous processes. You must be ready to ask a lot of questions. You must demand for video calls. You must demand for video calls because you need to see that you're talking to a real human being and not a robot. You need to be sure about these things. And yeah, so online dating it has worked for some persons, but it's not a go-to kind of thing that I'm gonna just tell you, yeah, go. Especially when you're looking for a serious thing, like a serious relationship. Hey, how are you doing? How are you doing? Yeah, welcome to this live. Welcome to this live. Please do well to share, like, subscribe. So this person says, how can I stand out in a crowded how can I stand out in a crowded space? Okay, so when you say stand out in a crowded space, what exactly? I would love to know. So, what comes to mind is that sometimes you find yourself in a very. Have you gone to a shop before where there are a lot of girls learning something, probably learning how to make hair, learning how to. If you don't have heart, you might just feel like, man, I can't come here to add myself to this crowd of 20 persons in one small shop doing something. That's a crowd. As far as that small space is concerned, that's a crowd. But you must do it afraid. How do you stand out is that you start early to tell yourself that in so what I did when I knew that I was someone who I'm quiet. Sometimes growing up I was very quiet. I was this very quiet person, so I'm always keeping to myself. I can be smart, but I am shy. I could be shy. So I gave myself a challenge and I said, Gloria, you're going to speak up in every crowd. If you go for an event and they say, who has something to say, be the first person to raise your hand. That's scary. Even though I did that, but I didn't always do that. I didn't always push through with that. But I started it. I challenged myself, and a few times I stood and I spoke. And I always take up the challenge of speaking. Like I said, do it afraid. That is the goal. Always do it afraid. There is never a time that you will not feel that shyness, or you will not feel that vulnerability when you want to speak. You would always feel it, but you still tell yourself, I am still going to do this regardless. I'm still going to do this regardless. I'm still going to do this regardless. All right, so this is where I'm going to draw the curtain for today. Tomorrow on the Q&A, we will continue. Thank you. Bye. Chiki, 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 chiki. All right, so I'm just going to go right here and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for doing this. It's time to dance. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone who has joined. Thank you. Appreciate